Okay, good evening, everybody. Basically, just to give you a little bit of background of who I am, what I do for those who haven't met me before, because I've been zocher to work with you the last 2 years. This is my fourth campaign with the yeshiva. Baruch Hashem, I'm zocher to work with a lot of amazing yeshivas, shuls, organizations, kiruv organizations, chesed organizations, to help them raise money. And what I do is I basically come in and help them figure out what their resources are and how to best put those resources to work in order to raise as much money as possible. So that being the case, what we're really looking at when it comes to yeshiva, the greatest resources are the people in the yeshiva, whether it's the Bacharim or the Yungalites or the Rebbeim, right? It is the people who come to the yeshiva, who live in the yeshiva, who breathe the yeshiva, who are the best ambassadors for the yeshiva. And so what does it mean? What is the plan of what we're going to do? So really there's two major things we're going to be looking at. Number one is calling people who have donated in the past, which thank God we've had a lot of past donors who have given to both the yeshiva as well as its predecessor, existing North Melech. On top of that, we're going to be, and even more importantly, we're going to be reaching out to our own contacts. We're going to be reaching out to our own friends, our own family, people that we care about. If you're married, think about who came to your wedding. If you're single, think about if you were getting married, who are the people that you're inviting to your wedding, right? I tell everybody, you think about what I call the Simcha list, not just because my name's Simcha, but because this simcha implies something you share with others, right? So when you, whatever your simcha you're involved in, you're making, there are people that you care about that you tell about that simcha. And if you're close enough to tell them about that simcha, you're close enough to ask them for $50 towards the campaign. And all of us have 100 people, 200 people that we would invite to our weddings or that we would tell about a tremendous simcha. So that's who we're going after, and that's what we're trying to reach. Now, you're going to say to me, like what everyone says to me, which is, I don't like to ask people for money, right? No one really likes to ask people for money. And that's fair. It's not nice to ask people for money. And no one wants to be a schnorrer. And it's true, 100% it's true. But the question is, why don't we like to ask people for money? And the reason we don't like to ask people for money is because we don't want to be a taker. It is not nice to be a taker. It's not nice to schnorr. It's not nice to ask somebody to give up something for you. So how do we ask people to be involved in the campaign? And how do we get people to give and want to give? How do we get people giving from inspiration instead of desperation? So the way we do that is by being a giver. So what do I mean? And this is I want someone to shout it out. This is the participatory part of this. So if you have an amazing experience, you eat at a great restaurant, you hear a great shiur, you take a good vacation, you watch a good movie, what do?
Write a review.
No, well, okay, and why are you writing a review? That's a good indication.
I suppose.
Okay, but more than that, who is the review? Who's the review for?
You want to publicize their amazingness.
Exactly, because you want other people to share in that experience. We see our friends, we come back from a great meal, you tell your friends, oh, you have to try this restaurant. The brisket at 306 barbecue is geschmack, right? Mamish, this is what we do, not because we're bragging about what we got, but it's because we want other people to share in our experience. We want other people to feel that they are, able to have that same experience. And then they're going to have a course to talk to us for giving them that experience. So that's what we're doing when it comes to fundraising too. It's the same type of conversation. Is you need to get involved with this yeshiva. Toras Dovid is the most amazing place. My learning has never been better. I feel so much Toras Tov that I'm here and I'm able to grow and learn so much. And not only, because it means so much to me, I know that there's so many people that want to come, and there's so much growth the yeshiva has left to do, and the only way to do that is to expand and to buy another building. And so I'm asking you to partner with us and help us with this project. I'm asking you have the ability to make a difference in someone's life. If we're able to bring in more people, those people are going to grow into our mitzvahs, and you're getting the scar from making that happen. Does that make sense? People cop what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a very different experience. You and we take it a step further, because not only are we just saying, okay, in general, you have the chance to participate, but on the page we have sponsorship opportunities. Sponsor a day of learning, sponsor a week of learning, sponsor a bacher for a month. You have the ability, you have a hay in exactly whatever it is you're doing. It's much more geschmack for somebody to feel like they're buying something and dedicating something with their money than it does to just like stop and give a donation. So we're telling by you sponsoring a day of learning, so you can dedicate a day of learning in someone's honor, in someone's memory, and you're helping us to build the yeshiva and helping us to purchase this property so that we can bring in more Jews and have more people connected to the Almighty. So that's what we're doing, is we don't say things like, can you donate, or can you spare some money, or do you have some tzedakah, or can I'm collecting from my yeshiva. No, what we're saying is we are building an institution, and you are a brick in that institution, and we want your partnership, that you're here building this with us. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the hashkafic portion of this talk. Practically speaking, so what are we going to be doing? So I'm going to be coming on Motzi Shabbos, and just you're all going to be, well ahead and into it by the time I get out there. But I'm going to be Shabbos. I'll be with you guys all day Sunday.
Keith, 1 second.
Please.
Let's put this in. 1 second, Keith. Put it back over there, okay?
Always.
Where does it say? Keith, sorry, it's too many people to hear you, so we can't hear you so well because we're putting you into a speaker.
Okay, great. I'm going to continue.
Where's this here, no? Here we go. Keith, you can hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Huh? Disconnected? Son?
You probably have to go into the Zoom settings under the audio settings and then change the broadcast.
Excellent.
Good?
Let's be this way again. I hope you don't get dizzy when I move you like this.
I'm okay. I don't have you on full screen.
Okay, here, we all hear you much better now. Start from the beginning.
What did you say?
Go.
Do you really want me to start from the beginning?
No. You can just summarize what you said in like half a minute and then go weiter.
Fine. So essentially what I was saying up until this point is the perspective of fundraising, which is to say that we're not, the reason people don't like fundraising, the reason people have it hesitant to fundraise is because you don't want to be a taker, right? Being a taker doesn't feel good. It's not nice. People give out of guilt and they give because you're desperate, and that's not fun. So we want people giving out of inspiration, not desperation. How do we get people to give out of inspiration? Is instead of being a taker, to be a giver. So what does it mean to be a giver? Being a giver means in the same way that you would, if you saw a great movie, you eat at a great restaurant, you would tell people about it in order for them to get that same experience off of your recommendation. That's what we're doing here, is not saying, hey, can you do something for me? you're calling people and saying, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to give you a haylig in the biggest, best growing yeshiva in America. You're going to have the ability, you can dedicate a day of learning. You can dedicate, a bacher for a month, sponsor a bacher for a month, and do it in memory of somebody or in honor of somebody. And at the same time, have a brick in building expansion of this yeshiva. It's an unbelievable opportunity that you can't afford to miss. And when you're giving something to somebody, and when you're telling them you can have this amazing opportunity, you can make a difference, it's a totally different perspective. And what we do is we speak passionately, we speak sincerely, and we speak openly in what we're trying to do. I have so much recourse I told to this yeshiva that I want every bacher to be able to come here who wants to come here. And the only way we can have room for everybody is if we expand. And so I took it upon myself to raise $5,000 in order to make that dream a reality. Can you show us your support? Can you partner with us? And when you say it like that, when you pitch it warmly like that, people will respond. Best case scenario, they will give you, and they will give you generously. Worst case scenario, if they can't do it, they'll tell you in such a way that gets you down easy, that's menschlich. When you ask like a mensch, people reject you like a mensch. And so they'll say, oh, I'm so sorry, now's not a good time, or I really wish I could help, it sounds such an amazing thing that you're doing, I wish you a lot of hatzlacha. But the idea is that when you're able to do it and get encouragement, and you're able to do it and have people respond in such a positive way, it'll help you continuously to go. So for those of you who say, okay, well, how am I going to do this? I don't know a lot of people. So as I said in the beginning of the call, everyone has a simcha list. If you are getting married, if you are married, if you have a baby, like who are the people you tell when you have a simcha? And you make that list. I'm going to give everybody what's called a memory jogger, which has a list of every single potential person in your life. And you can think about who are the people that I'm going to reach out to and make a list beforehand. It definitely helps to have that list ready to go beforehand. So you're not just constantly looking through your phone, who am I going to call next, who am I going to call next? You've already put together a list for yourself and you have a roadmap. Think about who are the lowest hanging fruit, who are the easiest people for you to ask, and who are the people who have the biggest potential to give to help you reach your goal. I use my wife as an example for this because my wife is a teacher. She's not a fundraiser. She doesn't like doing fundraising. However, she had a mother who her mother was doing much better, but her mother was very sick and was in the hospital for months last year, not because of COVID, but because of COVID's existence, she was not allowed to have any visitors while she was in the hospital. So she spent months in the hospital without anyone to visit her. And the only contact that she had was through Bika Holem, who gave her, care packages from us and drawings and paintings. So when Bika Holem had their campaign, my wife said, I'm going to try to raise $1,000. So I worked with her and we put together a list of about 60 people for her to call. And within 5 phone calls, she raised $1,000. So then she continued on to 1,800 and then 3,600. And all said and done, by the time she got through her whole list, she raised almost $7,000. And all of us have that ability. It's just a matter of putting in the effort and feeling encouraged. So my message to you guys tonight is don't feel anxious, don't feel scared, don't feel challenged. We are here to support you. I'm coming up Motzi Shabbos. I'm going to be with you Motzi Shabbos. I'm going to be with you all day Sunday. If you want to role play with me, if you want to bounce ideas off me, if you want any training, I'm here to help you and help you do it well. And I want all of you guys to help each other. That's the most important thing. You're all in this together. This campaign is not for one of you. It's for all of you. And it's for all the people like you who are not yet in the yeshiva, who really could be. So support each other, encourage each other, congratulate each other when you see each other having success, and lift each other up, because together you guys are going to accomplish something amazing. The crowd of people, when people talk about a crowdfunding campaign, you just think, oh, okay, it's a lot of donors, all making a big goal. But it's the crowd of people who are ambassadors to the campaign that really makes it. Because at the end of the day, Rabbi Simon can call his contacts and we can call people who've donated in the past, but we're limited by the people on our lists. But all of you have your own contacts, have all people that will give because you're the ones who are asking. People give to people more than they give to causes. Meaning, so whether it's Save the Whales or UNICEF or Yeshiva Toras Dovid, if you're the one asking and you're asking sincerely and earnestly, people will give to you, and that is where the potential for the crowd really is, palpable. It's unmatched. We can reach thousands and thousands of people if all of us would go through our phone contacts and call them and ask them for help. And it's okay, not everyone will give, but in the words of Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So we got to take every shot we can and raise as much money as we possibly can. Questions?
Questions, anybody?
Questions.
Is the campaign match?
I couldn't hear. Can you repeat the whole?
He's just kidding.
Baruch Hashem, it is all recorded. Everything is recorded, and I will be sending a link to Rabbi Simon as soon as it's done.
He really meant to say he's from Brazil, so he has a lot of contacts. He can't wait to call.
Yeah.
It's summer in Brazil. They want to give more money.
I got a question. Wait, your name is Keith, right?
Yeah, Keith or Simcha is my Hebrew name. I typically go with Simcha, although Rabbi Simon and I go way back to a time when I was still going by Keith.
Simcha. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Simcha. Okay, I have a question. So if we've never met the guy that we're calling for, like cold call, what's a good script for that?
You're saying for a cold call?
Yeah. Like we never met the gave us his contact or something.
That's not a cold call. A cold call is where the person's never heard of the yeshiva or the person has no shaykhs whatsoever. What we're dealing with when you're calling your own people, those are all warm calls because they're warm to you, right? So you're calling them about something you care about. If you're calling people you don't know, it's on our list. It's also a warm call because they're donated in the past. So there the call goes, I'm calling from Yeshiva Toras Dovid. I'm a bacher in the yeshiva. Baruch Hashem, the yeshiva is bursting at its seams. We've grown and doubled in size just in the last year since we got our building, and we need even more space now. We're building a dormitory so we can have house all the new bachrim. We know you've been extremely generous in the past, and we're asking for you to partner with us again to give another donation to this year's campaign where we're going to be building a new dormitory to house more bachrim and have more Bali Tshuva here growing there in the yeshiva and in the community in that city. Can we count on your support?
I have a question. How can we prevent confusion between Or Sameach and Toras Dovid? Because sometimes people go to donate to Or
Yes,
Sameach.
man. That was. I think it's been a couple of years since then. That was last year.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not.
He's concerned that they're confused. We'll give Or Sameach money, but they say it's Yeshiva Toras Dovid. Oh, Or Sameach. Let me give $5,000.
So I think at this point you guys have. I hear what you're saying. I think if somebody says, I don't know about Yeshiva Toras Dovid, and then I would maybe drop the OS bomb, right? But at this point, at this stage, first of all, nobody is giving $5,000 just because they hear, oh, Or Sameach, let me give you $5,000. Someone gives a $5,000 gift because Rabbi Reich is the one who calls them for $5,000. Right? Just being straight with you, meaning those types of gifts are solicited by personal relationships, and they're cultivated. That a cold call, someone's not just going to give you a $5,000. You might get somebody giving you $1,000. I'll tell you that. I've had that, and we know how much people have given in the past. So we will have a certain indication in terms of what people's capabilities are, but yeah, I would at this point I think your identity is so important, and we're so far past Or Sameach that unless Rabbi Simon disagrees with me, I would only bring up Or Sameach if the person says like, wait, what's Toras Dovid, or can you remind me, because that means they're probably somebody from the Or Sameach list.
So is it going to be matched? Is it matched?
Some of it, but not.
So meaning like if somebody donates, you're going to show them how much you donate, not like a double, right?
No.
So the goal is mom is 5,000 per person.
Yeah, exactly.
You can all do
Oh, I
it,
have a question. Oops, my bad.
please.
All right. So how do you deal with like the social, I would say the anxiety of burning social capital? Like I could only call in so many favors from people, for example.
Great
Like
question.
if I'm gonna have somebody do something for me, that means that like never again, or at least not for a while, can I ask them for something. So that's like a sacrifice on my part.
So the rule of thumb is once a year, meaning people have pet causes, right? All of us are probably getting hit up all the time by some friend for some cause or something they're raising money for. It's very common that somebody is asking us for something. I would say at least once a week, I get somebody asking me something for something they're raising for. And if the same person's asking me 3 or 4 times a year, that to me is like obnoxious. But when the same person is asking for the same cause, I'll give you a great example. I have a very good friend who he raises money every year for Friendship Circle. Once a year, he does his annual campaign where he's trying to raise money for Friendship Circle. I know he volunteers for it. I know he really appreciates what they do, and it's important to him. And every year I raise money for Aish. Baruch Hashem, I've worked for Aish on top of what I do for the Chesed Fund for 11 years. And that's the one thing that I personally raise money for. So once a year, I go to all my friends. Once a year, he goes to all his friends. Doesn't change our relationship whatsoever. We're close, There's no social capital. I give to him, he gives to me. But even people who don't raise, the people that I go to who don't have their own causes, as long as I'm only asking once a year, and as long as I'm only particularly asking for one cause, people get it. And especially if you're coming from a place, this is why everything needs to be as personalized as possible, because when you're doing it sincerely, people respond much better, and you don't burn social capital in the same way as when you send somebody a stom copy and paste message, or you just click forward, to everybody in your contact list to send the same message, then people are just like, what, I'm just a statistic to you. I'm just another person you're hoping will respond. Whereas when you take the time, even just to say, it's the simplest thing in the world. I like sending voice notes, right? On WhatsApp, if I'm reaching out to people on WhatsApp, hey Justin, how's the new job? Things going well? Meeting any girls lately? Hope life's going well, and I really love to hear from you. By the way, I know I'm part of Aish, and every year I raise money for Aish's campaign. You've been super generous before. Can I count on you for this year? Here's my link. If you can do anything at all is appreciated. Okay, it's 30 seconds, and I'll send 100 of those 30-second to messages to every single person that I know that I want to ask, right? But that's a huge difference with just making it a time and making sure that you're actually investing in that person, that like they are a person to you, and you're asking them to help you as a person.
This makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah.
We love you, Ishai.
We love you. We miss you.
I'll tell you one thing. This is something someone said to me once. Like probably the first time I ever raised money for anything, 6-7 years ago. It was very, very powerful. It stuck with me. And I sent somebody a message, and it was just like basically a copy and paste. The only difference was I just said, hey, so and so on each one, and I just changed the first name every time I sent it. And so he said, are you really asking me, or are you asking because you're just trying to throw it out, or is this something you really are personally care about, or is this something that you're just trying to do someone a favor or trying to help a little bit? And so you know what? There's a big difference. What he's really asking is he wants to know if this is something that's important to me. We have a relationship, and so he wants to support it. But if it's not something that's really important to me, I'm just kind of doing it for winging it, and based on the effort that I showed when asking, then he's not going to take it seriously either. So since then, every year, if I'm asking the same person, I make sure I give him a phone call first, and if he doesn't answer, then I leave him a voice note, really personal and thing and clear on what my intentions are and what effort I'm putting in. And it's made a huge difference. So, we have time to do it. You can start now. You have your pages ready, you have your links. There's no reason, like, there's something we call it the 30-30 rule, which means people are 30% more likely to donate once your goal is at 30%. So do not wait. Still time tonight, tomorrow, before Shabbos, you can start raising money already. And then Motzi Shabbos, we're going to go hard, hit the ground running.
Yeah, how long is the campaign then?
It's gonna be a week long, but we're just doing one day, and maybe business tournament sometimes.
Sunday, no classes.
Sunday we're excited. Everybody's gotta be together. So Sunday is, we're all going together. It's Achdus, it brings energy for one day. But the rest of the week, I'm gonna be, they're still gonna be collecting and everything else. Ask for donations.
And
Then I'll be
the
business
site's gonna be up for how long after?
It's gonna be up for about a few weeks.
Even after those few weeks,
Huh?
we give $1 million.
When we get the money.
Any other questions?
Yes, what's up?
Yeah, very nice.
This is speaking with Paul.
What's up?
Where are you, Marty? Are you in this thing? Yeah, Marty's Israeli. If Morty is a builder, so if we don't get the money for this, he'll just build us a dorm.
Another floor up over here.
Yeah, he can do it. He can do anything, Marty.
I'm very excited I saw the yeshiva once, right when you were first doing construction. I'm very excited to see it.
Okay,
Last year. What did you say?
We're looking forward.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If anyone has any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Rabbi Simon has my number. Rabbi Shapiro has my number. Rabbi Alberti has my number. I'm happy to speak to any of you, and very much
Okay,
looking forward to working with you guys this weekend.
Question I have for the guys who are captains of the team: what should we have a separate meeting for them, or should you want to tell them what their job is as captains of a team?
So I can say very, very easily, your job is to motivate everybody else. Your job is to look to see if people are having trouble, if people are having issues, if people need support, to be there for them and ask them, how can I help? How can I make make it easier for you? What can I do to make you more comfortable? And your job is, even more importantly, positive reinforcement. When you see people on your team doing well, and this goes for everybody, positive reinforcement. So-and-so just got a $20 goal. Yeah, does not matter if it's $18, $5, $1, $1,000, $10,000. We need to celebrate in everybody's success. Everybody feeling good about what they're doing. The money comes from the Almighty, but we have to do our hishtadlus. And so if we can award each other's hishtadlus, everyone's going to feel more inclined and everyone's going to go to reach their potential.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Okay, looking forward, guys.
What's the Shabbos? We'll see you.